What's up, guys? Quick example from my 28-day metabolic reset book, how gratitude helps with energy and motivation. So gratitude is important when it comes to our overall sense of well-being. A regular gratitude practice can actually change the way the brain functions and operates. So the main area of the brain that gratitude activates is the medial prefrontal cortex. When engaging in a repeated gratitude practice, it can help buffer the negative physical and psychological effects of early traumas and provide resilience to incoming traumas. Not only that, but it helps boost social relationships across the board in terms of family, school, work, and romantic relationships. More importantly, it helps strengthen the relationship we have with ourselves. Gratitude helps build up and strengthen the pro-social network in the brain, so our ability to socialize with others becomes much easier. When the pro-social network area is more active, the defense network area in the brain is antagonized or less active. In other words, our defense mechanisms to others drops and becomes less active. We have the ability to take on more constructive criticism without feeling negative about ourselves, and we become less offended and more understanding when someone acts poorly towards us. We're able to think more critically and calmly in high-aroused, stressful situations. So like a regular gratitude practice can change the emotion and motivation related brain regions. In other words, it can change the emotional pathways that shift the fear and anxiety circuits to be less active and the circuits for well-being and motivation to be more active. So there was a study that showed women who engaged in repetitive gratitude practice had rapid reduction in amygdala activity and threat detection, as well as a decrease in inflammatory markers that affect the immune system immediately after engaging in their gratitude practice. Having said this, the gratitude practice has to be grounded in a narrative or story. So that's the most potent forms of gratitude is wholeheartedly receiving it or watching or reading about stories where someone gives thanks to another person who went out of their way to help them through an adversity. When we immerse ourselves in these types of narratives, the brain is able to more deeply process and encode the emotional significance of the experience. This strengthens the neuronal pathways associated with positive emotion, connection, meaning, making gratitude practice more effective and long-lasting. So stories are the best way for the brain to organize information. The medial prefrontal cortex gives us the ability to rationalize the meaning and context. So the description of the person receiving help gets embedded into the brain. So for the 28-day metabolic reset, I want you to think of a story where either you saw someone help another person through adversity and gave thanks, or a narrative where someone gave thanks to you for helping them through a struggle. So write down 4 bullet points that help you recall the story or narrative. And I want you to sit in that feeling for 1 to 2 minutes. Think of the emotions you felt before, during, and after the event. And with repeated practice, we're building up and strengthening the areas in the brain that deal with resilience to trauma, socialization, motivation, and positive emotion. All right, I'm out.